Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the February 1st edition of the Monday Night Raw program. And I mean, for a post Rumble Raw, I guess this was fine. Although, to be completely honest, it was kind of underwhelming, especially after the Rumble being so good last night, or at least above average. Um, Anyway, to recap the show, Drew McIntyre enters. He starts. He basically says he's on the road to WrestleMania, and the Royal Rumble was great last night. He earned the respect of Goldberg, and Goldberg earned his. He thanked Goldberg. And McIntyre kind of runs down the match, so if there's anyone that didn't see it, which, judging by network numbers, there's many people that didn't, Edge interrupts as he's about to speak. McIntyre calls Edge a mentor who looked out to him. He remembers the difficulty of Edge having to retire. McIntyre remembers AJ Styles' boot in the throat during last year's Rumble. And when he heard Edge's theme music hit, McIntyre thought Edge was done after the last injury, and he's happy and proud that he won the Rumble. Edge thanks him for the words. Edge then asks what's wrong with him. He said he's an immediate threat, but McIntyre is showering him with compliments, which does make a lot of sense. He basically says McIntyre should kick his head off. McIntyre said he wasn't like a certain opponent, and he's a different kind of champion. Sheamus interrupts. Sheamus wondered how Edge could question a champion who carried the company through the pandemic while he was sitting at home nursing an injury, and basically implying that Edge wasn't doing enough while he was away. McIntyre wants to know Edge's decision regarding who he's going to face at WrestleMania. He said he's going to choose his options later. Edge warned McIntyre that he has a huge target on his back. Edge said that no matter who he chooses, he will walk out of Mania as champion, and Edge left. McIntyre posed with the belt and turned into a brogue kick by Sheamus. They played to the crowd, and Sheamus was booed. Announcers are confused. Samoa Joe explains why Sheamus would knock out the champion. Obviously, there's reasons there. Charlie Caruso asks Sheamus for comment. Sheamus says McIntyre's no longer his friend and he wants the championship. Drew Gulak appears with Sheamus's bags. Sheamus grabs his stuff and leaves. U.S. Championship Riddle defeats Bobby Lashley by DQ at 140. Why even bother with the match at this point? Announcers put over Riddle's performance in the Rumble, and the fact that Daniel Bryan was the one that gave Riddle his black eye. Lashley applies the Hurt Lock. Riddle's on the apron. Referee tries to stop Lashley, but he doesn't break before the 5 count. Ref calls the DQ. Riddle says that they say he tapped while in the hold, but that doesn't count. Lashley put Riddle in the hold again, and they played "You Suck" chants. MVP told them to stop because he's going too far. Lashley gives him a death stare and puts Riddle in the hold again. Eventually, MVP, who seemed concerned, is happy with Lashley afterwards. The announcers explain Lashley is angry that Riddle was among those who eliminated him in the Rumble. Officials are still tending to Riddle at ringside. After the commercial break, Orton comes out and he cuts promo backstage. He says he didn't think it was possible that Edge would return, let alone win the Rumble. Problem is that Orton told the world that Edge would never return. Now Edge has made him a liar. Orton said he put Edge through hell and back. He should be home with his family. Orton tells Edge that he was not main eventing WrestleMania. That would be he'd shown no mercy and no compassion tonight. Orton and Edge tonight. Kingston tells Xavier Woods that Mustafa Ali lost his mind, thinking that everything happened to Kingston 2 years ago should have happened to him. Kingston has Woods back tonight, even though he's not there. Speaking of not there, Mia Yim and Mace are not here either. Xavier Woods, with Kofi Kingston, defeats Mustafa Ali in just over 4 minutes. Woods hits a side Russian leg sweep and clothesline. T-Bar breaks up the cover. Ref yells at Revolution instead of calling for DQ like they did in the first match. Kingston jumps off T-Bar's shoulders, takes out Slapjack with a dive. They try to use distraction, scoring the roll up, and then Woods counters into a roll up of his own for the win. This match was unnecessary. Bad Bunny is shown speaking to Damian Priest in the back. We go into the second hour. The first hour of Raw, honestly, was, I guess, okay. But the only notable thing is Edge and Orton's announced for later, and Edge basically challenges Drew McIntyre to man up. Miz with guest Bad Bunny. Tom Phillips said this could be the biggest Miz TV ever, and Miz and Morrison put over Bad Bunny's performance last night. They introduced him. They said what happened between them last night is a misunderstanding. Miz apologized to Bad Bunny, accepting, and Bad Bunny, I guess, accepts the apology, but he didn't give them one. Miz said he heard a rumor that Bad Bunny wanted to be a WWE superstar one day. Bad Bunny confirms this is a dream of his. Please, no, just no, never, no. Anyway, Miz mentioned how successful Daniel Bryan was learning under him and offered Bad Bunny the opportunity to do the same. All they wanted in return was his help getting a recording deal. Miz and Morrison sang in Spanish. Bad Bunny interrupts them. He calls them special, but he's not interested in working with them in any way. He told them that he wasn't talking to Shakira and J-Lo. Miz warned him, but Bad Bunny said that he was only on Miz TV because his friend wanted to be on too. Damian Priest enters and embraced Bad Bunny before knocking down Miz. With a forearm, Morrison bails out, checks on Miz, and the segment is over. Damian Priest with Bad Bunny defeats Miz with Morrison in just under 4.5 minutes. Priest takes out Miz and Morrison with a dive early. Miz takes over after going after the eyes. Miz is paying attention to Bad Bunny. That allows Priest to get an advantage. He hits a kick, comes back with several strikes, and a broken arrow for a near fall. Priest is then distracted by Morrison, which allows Miz to hit a reasonably big boot. Miz goes for the briefcase. Bad Bunny takes it away. Morrison confronted Bunny, so he gives him the briefcase. Bad Bunny clocks Morrison in the face with it. Priest gives Miz the Reckoning for the win. There's a recap of Alexa Bliss at the Rumble. She faces Nikki Cross tonight. I mean, I'm glad that Damian Priest is on Raw in the sense of new talent, but also sad because that means he's done at NXT where he could actually be used well. Benjamin and Cedric Alexander defeat Lucha House Party to retain the Raw Tag Team titles in just over 11 minutes. I don't even remember, was it last week or the week before that Benjamin and Alexander won these useless tag team championships? MVP joins in on commentary. Metalik makes a heart tag. Lucha House Party shine a bit. Metalik hits Alexander pinned, hits a senton. Benjamin comes in, barely breaking up the cover. Alexander hits some knee strikes. Benjamin tags himself in. Metalik hits the pay dirt for a pinfall for the win. This was fine, but honestly, does anybody really care about the tag team championships on Raw. Like, honestly, is anybody tuning in to see this? Alexander's annoyed, but MVP gets in the ring and settled things down. They do the fist bump thing. I'm assuming that Cedric Alexander's turning eventually and revealing it was all a ruse to get in on this and goes back with Ricochet, but who knows when they'll do it. Sarah interviews Charlotte Flair and Asuka. Charlotte felt bad she let her team down. Asuka wants to speak for herself. She said she's ready, but only lost because of distraction to Lacey Evans and Ric Flair. Charlotte said the only thing that's on her mind is winning the titles back. Asuka's happy with that, and she felt like warning Charlotte not to mess up again. Maybe they'll do Asuka and Charlotte again. That could be good. Triple threat match in the tag team women's division. Naomi and Lana, yes, what a team, defeated Raw Women's Champion Asuka and Charlotte Flair and Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke in just over 11 minutes. I can't believe they're wasting Naomi's return and teaming with Lana. Anyway, Asuka hits Rose. Shining Wizard for near fall. Lana tags in. Charlotte sends her down, and Naomi makes a tag, hits Charlotte with a jawbreaker and some strikes, and a disaster kick for near fall. Charlotte cuts off Lana with a big boot, and everybody does moves. Charlotte hits the natural selection. Ric Flair's music hit, and Rick and Evans enter. Instead of continuing to wrestle, Charlotte basically tags in Asuka because she didn't want to deal with any of this. Asuka looks confused. Charlotte just walks away. Naomi hits Asuka with a rear view. Pinfall win. Naomi and Lana will face Nia Jackson and Shayna Baszler for the titles in the future, and that will be horrible. Anyway, third hour begins. Charlie Caruso interviews McIntyre. McIntyre said it'd be an honor to face Edge at Mania, finally deciding to be less of a punk in caring more about the championship than being liked. Anyway, regarding Sheamus, McIntyre is emotional. Your families fight all the time, he says. This is different. McIntyre basically says if Sheamus wants to throw away a 20-year friendship over titles, so be it, and accepts the challenge for the championship match at a later point. They announced Carlito would be wrestling on Raw tonight for the first time in 10 years, and they played a video package. I guess they're announcing things throughout the show to try and get people to continue watching instead of doing it all at the beginning and people tune out when they don't care. I don't know. Anyway, Jeff Hardy and Carlito, what a weird team, defeat Elias and Jason Riker. What a useless team. They work over Hardy, and Carlito makes a hot tag. He goes nuts. Elias tags in and goes for Schoolboy, hits it for near fall. Carlito hits a backstabber, tags in Hardy. Hardy nails a swanton, gets the pinfall win. And then there's an Edge Orton video package, and they claim this would be the last match against each other. I highly don't believe this. Edge cuts a promo backstage. He says he's torn. He's happy to have won the Rumble, outlasting 29 of the best talents in the world. On the other hand, there's a Black Cloud named Randy Orton. Ed said Orton had an opportunity to go bell to bell, just like he did, but instead he claimed he had a knee injury. Ed said Orton needed to stop talking about his family. He needs to put Orton behind him and win the championship he never lost. He gets closure tonight, having to explain to his daughters why he couldn't lift them or play soccer with them. It ends tonight. Nice enough promo. I do think that Edge winning the championship, although it's bad for business in the sense of yet another old person doing it, I think does tell a nice story, and I would support it on the sake of the story, provided they have a plan for Edge elevating someone after he wins. If he doesn't win at Mania, him winning the Rumble is just wasted, but you have to have a plan for after Edge wins in order for it to matter. They do a Black History Month feature. They highlight Big E, Titus O'Neil, and Montez Ford. Edge says Edge saw Priest in the back and told him he was impressed with him. They shake hands. Good endorsement there. This is the proper use of Edge. Anyway, Alexa Bliss defeats Nikki Cross in about 6 3/4 minutes. Cross is in control, and Bliss only gets a 2 count after the forearms, and she kind of does an aw shucks look and kind of a shoulder shrug. Bliss plays hopscotch before kicking Cross in the gut. I like the depth of some of the characters of Alexa Bliss. The multiple personality thing is kind of interesting. If they continue to do it, I guess it's okay. I don't necessarily like the light switches and the magic part, but I do like the depth of her having multiple personas. Cross begins making a comeback, stops when Bliss's old music played, and she transforms into a regular Alexa. She then says she's basically ready to have a competitive match. Cross attacks her, Funhouse music plays, and Childlike Bliss is back. Bliss uses her own version of Sister Abigail. She gets a pinfall win here. Bliss is leaving. Orton enters for his match. They cross paths. Bliss stares at Orton, and they pass each other. Orton didn't look at her. Edge defeats Randy Orton in just over 16 minutes. Edge tries to end the match early with several pinfall attempts because he wrestled well almost an hour last night. Edge tries the basically an anti-venom type maneuver. Orton kicks him while he's down, takes over. Edge comes back with the execution, DDT for near fall. Orton hits a power slam and sends Edge shoulder first into the post. Orton sends him into the steps. This leads to a commercial break. Orton is in control after the break until Edge knocks him down. With right hand, double clotheslines. Edge goes to the top. Orton went after him. Edge fights him off. Hits a flying clothesline for a near fall. Edge counters an RKO into an Edge-o-matic. Edge then drives Orton off the apron. They crash into the barricade. Edge goes for the cover in ring, but Orton rolls to the outside. Edge goes after him. Orton thumbed him in the eye and gives him a back suplex. In the announcer's desk, Orton slingshotted Edge into the bottom rope before hitting a draping DDT. Orton sets up for an RKO. Bliss suddenly appears, distracts him. Blood or some other ooze pours out of her mouth. Edge spears Orton for pinfall. Bliss disappears, and they close the show. This hokey stuff is going to end, but at least maybe they can do something different with Edge now, I hope. At the end of the day, it's fine, but it's also kind of awkward and not the way to close a show, but for a WWE television product, I guess it's fine. Anyway, till next time, keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment, and please subscribe.